want you to go
Okay,
and
good.
where I
Yeah,
want you
yeah.
to start.
Take me
So,
there. Take me
like
there.
your love for the scene as far as underground getting involved into the music, like what spoke to you first to make you feel like, okay, this is something I want to do. This is my interest because you've been on the scene a long. Started out silently before you even became vocally into the public. So it had to start somewhere.
Well, you know what? I was always told I could sing,
Hmm.
but I didn't start out singing. I started writing poetry, spoken word,
Hmm.
and so I want to say my first step on the scene was the B side.
Okay, Cleveland
So
Heights.
yeah, so I just started speaking there, and eventually, I mean, it was like a quick transition though. I didn't do it long. I just started singing. Then I became the hook girl for a lot of artists in the city, and man, Ladies of the Land really took me to the next group. Solo artist, I didn't put that much thought into it. I just wanted to sing. I just wanted to get in the studio. I just wanted to produce music and get it on wax.
and
Right?
and this was during the '90s, like
Yeah.
yeah, like
Was it?
early '90s with the Ladies of the Land movement and the
Was
Rhythm
it?
Room. Yeah, that was early '90s.
No.
Yeah, like
Rhythm room. Stop it.
yeah, this is around that
Wow.
time. This is
Wow.
like all night, like
You got
93,
Rhythm Room.
Well, you know
95.
what?
Yeah.
For me, what's this? Dang, 2020. I'm like,
Yeah,
I ain't trying to tell my age for real.
that's all right. That's all right. No,
No,
Cleveland Heights.
Cleveland Heights. Cedar
Yeah,
Taylor.
Cleveland Heights.
Cedar Taylor.
But it was at the end of it, like when I got. So, I
So the
think
B
that was
side
still
was like
2000.
right. So that was early side for you, Coventry. The B side, yeah, so it's like '90s around that time. The Rhythm, yeah, that was the Ladies of the Land movement, and like
I really yeah. So I knew that I was told I could sing, but I didn't really necessarily want to like do anything with it until after I started doing poetry and spoken word at the B side and started singing. And so I started singing at the B side, and I became the hook girl. I'm too low. Well, maybe I don't know. I'll be just too close now. My lips touching the microphone. I'm anal about that. Okay, excuse me. No, I mean stop. Don't start, please, please. Not yet, y'all. It's too early. It's too early. But yeah, I don't want my lips touching the microphone. So anyway,
R-rated. Be quiet. Go ahead. Tell your story.
all right. Oh.
Yeah, we got the echo.
Here we go.
think I'm older than her, but in the music, she was.
She was already
Yeah,
she had a whole nother she was on a whole nother
she
level.
was the big dog to me. Like,
She
yes,
flipped the switch, huh?
what we doing? How we do this? Let's go.
Right, because I mean her hustle was
She
impeccable.
set up the shows. Like, she
Yeah.
set up the shows for us to go. Open up for Nicki Minaj, Lil Flip, like Sandusky, Youngstown, all these places, and
Yeah.
it was just like, let's go. Where we going?
And that was like in the 2000s because Chevy Blue was moving as like an independent artist. Like Chevy Blue, that shout out to Chevy Blue. Yeah,
What's she staying at now?
I
I think she back here.
is she back in Cleveland? Yeah, I know she was gone for a while.
Is it just like that whole, is it just a weirdness for you?
It's a weirdness for me because it seems like I don't know, maybe I feel like I should be attracted to more men.
Well, I mean, that's your thing.
I mean, because they're outside.
Right.
No.
I mean,
No explanation.
Okay, so
if that's your thing.
let me find the word.
That's what you prefer.
I'm around a lot of attractive guys,
Right.
but I'm not.
Attracted to them.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Oh wow.
For whatever
Yeah, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's like it's rare that. All right, here we go. Reading.
Yep. Okay.
I'm gonna need y'all to get that together over there. We get to the meat and potatoes.
Right. Not now. They're all gonna be laughing at you. Stop it.
Y'all gotta pour them out off camera. They can't see me getting it in.
Oh,
It's like that. She's still drinking and she's sober.
Hey, it's all right. You on the show. That's what we do. That's just iced tea.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Don't pay them no
Thank
attention.
you.
Not a problem.
Oh, I love the pouring.
Bon appetit.
Okay, that's enough. All right.
Well, she going right along with the bit.
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
What did you do? Because that's weird. Here.
What? That was funny. You know that sound like that was funny. That sound like
So glad it's Halloween.
right. Hey, maybe some of this could be used for the opening of a playlist.
Right. Trick or treat.
Hey, you.
What you said? It is weird. I don't use
Man, if this don't sound like no Halloween shit for
I
real.
could use these cameras.
Oh my God.
Sound like we almost. No, it's
It's that thing, Jack. You know what? We got people supposed to be listening to this. Supposed to try to sponsor our show.
Tell them I fucked up.
Oh.
We just called Sycamore like, yo, man, we about to do a show. They like, fuck this.
Man, we gotta use this.
So you put a beat to it, man. It's gonna be live.
Maybe. Put a beat to it. You so stupid.
Hell yeah.
Nothing.
Hello.
Pac-Man's laughing like a real scary movie, too.
Man. I'm terrified. That's why I'm laughing.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh shit. You don't need that.
I thought you had it.
What? In and out.
It's Jason.
That's loose.
Still acting?
But this shit cannot be made up.
This one of our Halloween drops.
It's good. We good now.
Just when you start talking, thinking about, it's all over. Get back. Nah, we ain't through yet.
We got a whole lot more to go.
And this is down. They getting feedback from this. The speaker.
Oh man, that's funny as fuck.
Okay, my fault. Live side.
All right, we back.
My stomach killing
Not
me.
that one.
So,
You ready?
yeah, we ready.
Meanwhile, at the Halloween.
We're saying, all right, so now back to the attraction with guys.
Okay, so. Oh,
That's
I'll pick up right where I left off.
Right.
It's journalism 101.
yeah, that's what's up.
Right.
Alright, so I was just saying, like,
What?
I'm
Your mic on?
somewhat selective because obviously the selection still wasn't because I'm with neither of those people.
You gotta
Not like
the
today.
mic has to be
So,
down. You gotta
you know
talk
what I'm
like
saying.
that.
Right.
Thank you.
Alright, so anyway, I was like, okay. And I don't approach guys. Like, they don't see me, they just don't see me. And I guess I'll just
So
be
be it, huh?
going home and be like, oh, it was nice seeing him, he was cute, and this one I just was, I don't know. I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm about to step up.
Right.
And it was so funny because we talked about it today. Like he just cracks up about it. I think my back. I think his back was to me, and you know, he was standing with the guys or whatever, the guys that we knew that I went traveling with, and my back was to him, and so I'm dancing. I want to say we was at the Mirage. Was it still open?
Oh, what? Early
Still-
2000?
Yeah,
it was still
it was a
open.
Mirage. I think it was a Mirage. And I was dancing and I was like tapping his thigh like, so that was my little cue.
Right.
Yeah, that was my cue. And when we talked about it like later in life or just, you know, after hooking up, he like, yeah, you did that little, it's so funny. Because that was just out of character for me, but I just
Took a
stepped
chance
out
and
there
went
and,
for it.
and did that.
Right.
And so, yeah, everybody in the room knows who this gentleman is.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that in just a moment.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, so we ended up recording. He was a producer then. And I was like, okay. So he had a studio in the house. I was like, oh, okay. And so I was like, yeah, what are we doing? So I started going over here recording. So he was really trying to coach me because honestly, I didn't sing in the church. You know what I mean? I didn't train my voice. I wasn't around people that sang to really show me the ropes to, you know, get acclimated to how you supposed to really use your vocals and breathing techniques and all
you
that
didn't have
stuff.
that old southern
Yeah, I
background
didn't have
right
all
there.
that. So I was just like, just singing and halfway knew what I was doing. So ended up constantly going over to the studio and one thing led to another as I expected.
Right.
Because I was on it. Whether he was or not.
He didn't know, but.
Nah, he knew.
Oh, okay, then.
Yeah, he knew. He just was, he was really, honestly, you know, thinking back, when me and him have talked about it, he was honestly wanting to see me pursue this. And he actually rapped as well. And so he wanted to see me, you know, do this. And he wanted to be that person that, you know, helped me get out here.
He really believed it.
Yeah. And he was like, come on, let's do it. He used to try to get me to sing like certain ways. And he don't sing, so I was like, I don't know what that is.
How you gonna tell him to do that? Right.
But he wanted me to like transition. I don't want to do it right now, but he wanted me to transition from like like drop down. But when he was imitating it, I was like, oh, what that is.
Right.
So anyway, he believed in me and had a studio. I didn't have to pay for anything, and I was just like, you know, getting in tune with recording. And recording for me was frustrating because I wasn't as strong vocally then. I knew how to sing, but I wasn't as strong vocally as I am now.
Right.
And yeah, it was challenging, it was frustrating, and yeah, the one thing led to another, and then there came a beautiful being amongst the connection.
Oh, okay. So there was a love child and a love situation in a career.
Oh, that was not the plan. That was not the plan.
Hey, but that was the outcome though.
Oh, that was so not the plan.
That was
Like,
the outcome.
no.
Wait, how you gonna leave, man? Yo, come through here, wreck
No
shop,
love.
and roll out.
No love.
We love you.
You gotta give my man Johnny a round of applause.
We need some more material, man. You were just warming up.
Hey, it was a treat seeing you today, for real.
Y'all about to go eat? Yeah.
I'm going with them.
You just ate.
I'm going with them.
Alright, so can we spill the beans on who this brother is now? I mean, Gary's a child.
We done got this far, right?
I've been in the studio.
So, can we get a drum roll, please? Because there's some people that still don't know this today.
Oh, here we go.
Joey Zaza.
Oh, Joe.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a lot.
Joey did it.
That's my guy.
Well, if
Oh,
you
y'all
don't
get
know him,
on
now
it.
you know.
Right.
Yeah, there's
Joey Zaza is
yeah.
your first career into your first producer into the
Hey, he's a
music
comedian now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joey.
I'm proud of him transitioning from that to challenging doing the comedian
But
stuff.
you know what? I think it's easy for a lot of people in the entertainment industry to wear different hats.
Yeah.
If you have a true talent.
Yeah.
Right.
I think DJs
Creatives.
make dope producers.
Yeah.
I think rappers, make great writers. I think singers make dope writers. And I think, if you wear a hat of talent anywhere in this industry, then you could pretty much go anywhere that your
You
talent
always
is.
transition to something else.
It's easy.
Creative.
Right.
Because you got one of the people that's like, they always talk on the microphone. I think they make great hosts or great stand-up comedians. It's a lot of different talents, man.
So the beautiful being that exists today from whatever we call ourselves doing, outside of producing music, we
Don't,
Hey.
we got that figured out. Let it go.
we're producing, right? But she is 11 years old,
Okay.
and her name is Josiah, and she's a distinguished honor roll student. I'm
Nice.
excited about that.
Oh,
Man,
congratulations.
yes. So he is very active in her life, and I commend him for that. I'm very proud.
Is she
And,
pursuing any kind of entertainment or anything?
well, she does play the violin.
I
I
played the violin.
Me too, I did
The
too.
violin was a great
I
instrument.
did
Once you
too.
figured out how to read music, you know how to strings. Man, the
Yeah.
violin is a very, very
Yeah, he
great
actually
instrument.
initiated it.
Really?
Yeah, he
That's dope.
initiated that.
And it's funny because I got my grandson playing the harmonica. He doesn't.
Oh.
He's only
Are you
2,
serious?
Oh,
so it's not
yeah.
serious.
Right,
But
right, right.
Oh,
his
he-
breathing is like up to the point to where he literally picked it up in like 5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, he just picked it up.
See?
I tell everybody with their kids, man, these kids' minds are sponges.
Yes.
If you put them in front of anything, do it while
Yeah,
they're at
yeah.
the youngest because
Yeah.
they gravitate to it. It's
Yeah.
gonna speak to them. They're gonna keep doing it because it's fun to them,
Yeah.
but it's gonna
Right.
spark something.
Right.
So
man.
you gotta keep sparking your kids'
Yeah.
imagination. You gotta keep sparking their creativity.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So yeah. What next?
Oh, let's keep it moving. I think Joey sounds like y'all got a love child, and she's a prodigy and an honor roll student. So, what was the next role for this month? This your story.
Well, after that, we didn't end up pursuing each other anymore, but I ended up with someone else in the music industry.
Yeah.
I said I was done. Like, I'm cool. I need to focus on me. Yeah, snuck in there, and then me and Chevy did a Chevrolet. Ride in my Chevrolet. I don't know if y'all have ever heard that song before, but she wrote Chevrolet, and that, like, if we play it today, I really am confident that song will go even today.
Really?
My mama love that song. She like, I want to hear that. I want to hear that.
Well, our parents, if they hear a good song that they like, especially a hip hop song, that's big.
Yeah. So Chevrolet
That song.
was when I still kept at it, at my music, and recording, and then there came the song Dangerous, written or co-written by Dave Tolliver.
I still have that CD.
Yeah, written and co-written by Dave Tolliver and A Writer. And that day recording in the studio was very stressful for me. I might sound a little nasally even today, and I was trying to record nasally. And Dave was like, come on. It was like boot camp, and I was like, I broke down and cried, and I was just like, it was just stressful. And actually, shout out to Collab on the track because he looked out for me on the studio. And so I was wrestling with him looking out for me on the studio and like taking up all this time. So I was like overthinking, pressuring myself, like, okay, hurry up. He looking out. You need to come on with it.
Right.
And I just put myself under so much more pressure than what Dave was trying to whip me into shape and do. He like, come on. So that's why you hear Dave Tolliver even on the hook, because I just stressed myself out about it. And so he's on the hook of Dangerous. And I definitely want to put that song out here. That because there ain't nobody really heard that
So
song.
why don't you just send it back in? We'll play it on the Indie Artist Showcase because you're still an independent artist.
Yeah.
So I mean, but like, what was it like? I know you worked with like a lot of people in the industry.
Yeah.
So what was it like working with Dave Tolliver? If y'all don't know who Dave Tolliver is, he's one half of Men at Large.
Right.
So it's him and Jason Champion in the early '90s, in the late '80s, early '90s. So
Y'all heard the song So Alone, Use Me. You know, that's Cleveland's talent, man. You know, it's always been great talent here in Cleveland. So if y'all don't know who Dave Tyler is, I just told you. So
Baby, can we talk?
yeah, that's what the intro for conversations.
Right.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Did I miss the question?
Yeah, what was it like working with Dave
Okay,
Tyler?
yeah.
Other than the brutal beating for the songs.
Oh boy, it was phenomenal. Period. He is like one of the dopest vocalists ever, and I just want to emulate what he has, and so I appreciate him for believing in me enough to even take time out of his life to do that. And we've sat in several sessions and like co-creating and writing things. Never really did get anything put out because I was in between, really making it happen. I think I made like 2 CDs, so I was always out pushing them and trying to get people to just have them and hear them, make some money, of course, the hustle. But yeah, I appreciate him today. And he had me, listen, I think it was this year. Was it this year? I don't know if it was this, I don't know, whatever. This year or last year, it might have been this year, he came to Kings and Queens and he allowed me to be part of his performances. And after I got off the stage.
I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was pumped. He was like, Moon, you sound so much better. I'm so proud. Like, he was pumped that I did a really good job. Because, singing for me, honestly, has been a struggle because I didn't know how to breathe. I was just singing, and I'm like, once I learned it, I was like, wow, this is a lot easier than what I've been doing, pushing out of my throat for real.
Right.
And that ain't it. And so,
Yeah. From here.
Vocal coaching I've gotten along the way, and it really, really put some things in perspective. Like, oh, okay, well, yeah, it started as I made it, and then just being nervous on stage, wanting to be perfect, and never hit a flat or too sharp or just overthinking. Oh, you gotta get naked. And I'm like,
Happens to the best of us.
I just, karaoke really broke me into singing. I don't know if y'all heard of Zen Bar on Larchmere.
Yeah.
So I was working there, actually bartending, because I've been a bartender for years. I've retired bartending, and I hope I never have to come out of retirement.
No, I need you to refill this glass.
And they was like, look, when we set up, just sing before anybody gets here, and I bet you, as soon as you do that, you ain't gonna never want to stop.
Wow.
And I was like,
Sure, whatever, huh?
Man, I had that microphone, I was like this, and I couldn't control it. It was bad. It was, my nerve, it was terrible, but I bust my cherry that day.
So as an artist,
ever since, I was like, yes.
Do you feel like you're your own worst critic?
Yeah.
I think all artists do.
Yeah.
I had to ask you that because I know we have a lot of talks as DJs, especially when we do projects and working on other people's stuff. It's like great stuff that we'll record that never gets released.
Right.
So just hearing it from an artist's perspective, it's like, are you your own worst critic?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you might be sitting on some of your best work that you just
and just refuse to let it go
because other people don't hear that. They don't hear those little nuances and subtleties that's like so minute to us, but to them it just goes past the regular person's ear. But we'll hear it and be like, nah, I ain't put that out.
And honestly, there's a lot of music that has been recorded over time that is really great music that I'm actually comfortable with, but it's gotten lost along the way. People done fell out, and it's like, how do we recreate it? And because a lot of stuff has been co-produced with what the people I was working with, and now it's like just. So I would put it out, man. I swear. So I'm getting ready to get back into the studio, actually.
Nice.
So what about the finished product, though? You have any you feel like we need to maybe get in our ears as DJs?
So what about, and another question I was about to piggyback off of that is, did you work with anybody that co-produced on some of those songs that they might have sold the works to somebody else, or is it still your original work where you actually go in now and put your confidence and touch in 2020 on those previous projects that never came out?
Yeah. As far as I know, I don't know that anything's out there in the industry. There was a track that I heard on the radio, the beat, and I was like, okay, did he give us somebody else's beat or did he really produce it?
Right.
That was like one time I heard that.
What song was it that you heard?
I don't remember.
Usually people, that kind of stains people's brain. Like,
It
right. You
does.
hear that song, you're
It's
like,
been a minute. It's been a minute. I can't remember right now though.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's one of those things where it's like that, because being in a lot of people's studios in Cleveland, I've seen producers like go up to New York for like producer deals or trying to get involved in the studio, and they'll play the songs here in Cleveland before they go up there, and then they'll come back and be like, well, no, they wasn't really feeling what we had. Then 6 months later, you hear that track on, you hear the same emulated track on somebody else's song.
Somebody else's voice, right?
Yeah.
You know.
So I just wonder about stuff like that, because I mean, I know in Cleveland, man, we have some of the best talent in the industry, but I think we get a lot of the raw deal too.
Yeah.
Screwed up.
Yeah,
Right,
a lot of
right,
people, it's easier for them in the industry to say, well, you know, Cleveland is a country, even though we're not a country
But they,
place
you
or
know.
nothing. We have a bunch of people here from the country, I mean,
Right.
but we're not a country at all. Like we're blossoming a booming city, whether y'all want to believe it or not. It's
Yeah.
not New York City, but it's not, you know,
Yeah.
But
fucking
that's
his
a
town
good thing
Right.
really
too.
either.
You know
what I mean?
That's a good thing too, is that we're not New York.
No, it's a great thing that we're
yeah,
not New York,
yeah.
because in New York it's easily to get lost in the shuffle.
Oh,
It's
man.
easy to take the corner of the rug and do this. In
Right,
Cleveland
right.
it's not so easy because the rug is only this big.
Right.
So, you know, you can't
Only
keep
so much
putting
is gonna fit up
everybody
there.
up under there. And then, if you're an artist in Cleveland, 9 times out of 10, you dealt with the crooks before you dealt with the business.
Yeah.
So you knew all the pitfalls to watch out for on the second time around.
Yeah, my brother he rapped and they recorded a video and he like, yeah, he never sent the video. I paid him and, you know,
Wow.
no. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it's easy to get a raw deal.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
But, okay, so now we got Dangerous and Dave Tolliver. And where do you go from there? Like, what's the next stop? Like, okay, I've got this done. I got my child here, I'm bartending, I'm singing with Dave Tolliver. I'm still looking for my big break. Like, you know, what's the next thing?
Well, the next thing is to get in the studio and produce Who Is She? Miss Moone with an E. That's the title. And that's it.
And it's still, that's where it's at, right? It's still cliffhanging to this day. Now, when did you start that project?
Well, no, that's the next project.
That's the next thing now.
Yeah,
So from Dangerous brought us to right now.
So between right now, it was, well, it still is, businesses that I have under my belt.
Which we can segue into now, because
Yeah.
you've been doing a lot of things as far as getting the females, you know, more interested in getting their voices out here, getting them projected into the spotlight, getting their business, helping them to build their self-confidence and their self-worth into themselves. Like you talk about, I listen to your show on numerous occasions, even though we're in the same building, but I still listen because we're in here working. You know, chakras and taking care of your brain, you know, putting out the false energy to bring in, attract positive energy, positive plus positive. You know, you put positive energy out there, you get positive results in return. And I think that's cool. I think it's very dope. But like, what advice are you trying to project to the ladies or women or young ladies and young little girls in general to say that, you know what, you are somebody, you are here, you have a place, you have a right. Like, what are you trying to project to them to say that, you know what, this is your place in society as well, to own it?
Right.
Because your show stands for something. And everything that you put out there to the listeners and your audience, because I know you do multiple shows on Facebook, Instagram, as well as here. And, you know, those are things that I think that's important for, especially, you know, black women to give back to other up and coming black women. Because they don't really get the praise that they're due.
Yeah, we don't.
And I got the second part, but I want you to answer that first before I move to the next part.
Well, I just want to inspire and motivate because we need that. I need it myself. So that's where the name even comes from. Miss Moone Motivates, because I need to keep motivated, keep myself motivated. So if I'm not motivated, then how am I motivating anybody else? So it's just, I always talk about like incorporating new habits because we have been conditioned with some old, raggedy, unsuccessful, unhealthy habits in our life, and habits, rituals, things that we need to put in place is very, very challenging because of what we've been conditioned to. So I talk about that a lot, and just want them to start wrapping their mind around that's what you got to do, and that's how you got to do it. Like, those are the baby steps you have to take, and don't overwhelm yourself.
Right. So have you suffered or been through anything traumatic that this has put you in a position to feel like, you know what, my voice needs to be heard because other women need to know my story, or other women need to feel like there's an inspiration or a point of person that they can go to or listen to motivate them to go to that next level or strive for greatness?
Yeah, I definitely struggle. My son, who is 20 something now, he's 23, and he was diagnosed initially with cerebral palsy, autism, ADHD. Now, I always say he's diagnosed. This is what they said. I don't like to claim it to be so, because, but just to give you an idea of what his condition is like. He is not verbal. He can make sounds or whatever, but he more so does his sign language. But he's not fluent in sign language. He makes up his own sign language. And that has been a huge, gigantic struggle for me in just, not giving up and not feeling down about, the cards I was dealt. And it's something that, I don't sink down in depression. I don't have a huge fear of doing that, because if I ain't did it all this time, I'm probably clear of it. Especially becoming more conscious and opening myself up to what I really need to work on, because we become so conditioned to focusing on the outside world and society and material things. So I feel good about the direction I'm going for sure right now. But even like over the years, I've struggled with, the decision of having to have him go into a group home because his behavior was just too overwhelming. And I had him until like 11 years old. And a lot of times, the children with special needs or whatever they tend to diagnose them with are usually strong as hell. Like they don't even know their own strength. And so, I did it up until I couldn't no more. I don't know what makes a person snap. And I didn't want to be that, headline on something happening, because you hear too many stories about that. So, I commend myself for even just being able to make that kind of decision. And today I'm turning around, not beating myself up about it or, feeling bad about it, because I really didn't have no family support. I didn't have no support. They didn't know how to support me with him. My oldest daughter was my biggest support, and she's 2 years older than him, so.
How much could you expect?
Yeah.
And it's crazy that you say that, because I worked in special ed for 8 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. So
Right.
and I worked directly with autism and cerebral palsy. And,
Where were you?
yeah, at Bedford High School.
Oh.
Yeah, I was there for years, and I got a lot of kids that were diagnosed, as you said. We don't claim it. It's just what they say.
Yeah.
And I've always told people, you can't trust a man in a white coat to guide you to the
Yeah.
right, because they're not always right.
No.
That's why they have, those interns and people in training, because they're not right. They don't know. That's the reason why they're still trying to figure it out. And unfortunately, our children are the guinea pigs of their success or failure. So I had a lot of kids in special eds get rid of their IEP, have them tested out of special ed. And because they didn't understand that when you want to get out of there, there's a lot of pitfalls when you're on an IEP. Like certain government grants and stuff for college, you won't get approved for.
Right.
And they didn't understand that. They thought some of them that was just trying to cruise on easy street. So they were playing the game, and I would tell them, like, listen, brother, I know I see so much more in you. I know what you're trying to do. But in order for you to make that happen, you got to get out of this.
That's what's up.
So, I dealt with a lot of kids that have autism where, they hate change. They hate things that's to not be organized, because they function
Yeah.
on a different level, and it takes a person with extreme patience to deal with that. And you need a system. You can't
Yeah,
do it by yourself. You could try, and I applaud you and every other parent that has a child in that capacity, because it takes a different type of person to have to deal with a person with autism. And it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, you know, if you don't have the support system, you know, you're kind of out there alone. And you know, they are incredibly strong, but their intentions are not to hurt you. That's never their intentions to hurt you. It's just, that's their defense mechanisms, and it's just the way that they react to things that are out of the ordinary for them. And it's cool. So I mean, it's not a bad thing the way things happen. You can only do what you can do. That's it. And you know, I would never, you know, say that you were wrong in your judgments or anything like that, because I don't know your circumstance. I didn't have to go through it with you. You know, but my heart goes out to you because I understand. You know, I can see it. I understand what you went through. So I mean, it's hard, and shame on anybody that sits back and plays, you know, judge you and execution on other people because you don't live it. There's a whole lot of people who households that are less than that ain't even in order.
Come on now.
So you can't, you know, lump everybody into that same category. You know, and I think, and by today's standards, it's easy to, you know, sit on your phone and pass judgment off a clip. You know, and that's the sad thing about it. But you know, I applaud you, and I just want to tell you, I understand. I understand.
My uncle was one of those people. He couldn't believe it. I was like, I wish you would have something to say. You gonna help?
They won't help. They'll give you all the advice from a distance in the world, but they'll never spend a day in your shoes.
But when he came over one day, my son was visiting, and my uncle had this little dog, and my son took the dog and kind of like threw him at the stove or something. And he was like, after he left from the visit, when he experienced my son, he really apologized and felt bad. Like, wow, I really, like, oh, I had no idea.
I didn't know,
I'm
right?
like, yeah, dude.
Because people think
I'm not making this up.
Especially, and family can be the utmost worst at times because they feel like, oh yeah, you know, you was the problem child. You was out there doing this. You was out there doing that. That's why this is God punishing you. And you know, you just ain't got the patience to deal with it because you focusing on yourself and you trying to be a celebrity. You ain't trying to raise your son. And it's like, come on, man. Like at the end of the day, when the lights go out and the cameras is off and ain't nobody around, like I still gotta be this person. Like this is the person that my kids know. My kids don't know this person that y'all know. They know this person that the rest of the world don't know. But now, you know, things have put such a shift in the culture and so much unnecessary exposure that, you know, the younger generation, they don't understand it's a blurred line between the two. Whereas the older adults understand that, you know what, when I go in my house and I close my fucking door, that's my business. Anything that happens when this door closes, that's none of your fucking business. So if you ride past here and you wasn't welcome, don't stop at this motherfucker.
Keep going.
Or what your mother said, don't you dock in this doorway.
Don't you dock in this doorway.
You ain't got nothing to do with going in here. You don't dock in this doorway. This ain't your business.
Well, I took my kids to Arizona with me.
So you
I was getting it. Like my son, he snatched the man's chain off on the plane when we got on there.
On the plane.
Wow. I was like, I don't know how this about to go.
But you know what? Most people on the outside that know about the world of autism and autistic children, they have the biggest heart. They're understanding. They're not.
He was cool.
They're not gonna. Don't worry about it. It's a clamp. I can get this fixed.
He was.
It's nothing.
And autism is you learn different stuff every day. I mean, people act like, you know, I got the blueprint on it. They don't.
No.
It's like, just when you thought you had it figured out, something else pops up. And it's like, oh, no, I ain't
how do I do this? How do I handle this one?
And I think it's sad, man, because I hate it. And I know we get a little bit off topic, but everything now is a monetary hustle. And I hate that because I remember once upon a time where Special Olympics and autism were the primary two goals that people focused on to get out there for the biggest support because the community needed the support. And now, like, cancer has taken over, and not to diminish cancer at all, because you know, shout out to my brother, you know, Total Chaos. I love you. I wish you power every day, power and praise every day, brother. But you know, I've seen people turn the cancer thing into more of a hustle, and take the attention away from other things. So, you know, all the people, like, my heart goes out to all communities. As long as it's genuine and
Right.
it's true.
Right.
Because if I give you my time, if I give you my energy, if I give you my money, it's from the heart.
Right.
It's not looking for an agenda. I
Right.
don't want nothing in response, nothing in return. It's just because I support you. And it costs you nothing
Right.
to support somebody if your heart is genuinely in it.
Right.
And I can say this too, for certain, that the autism community is genuine.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
It's like
Very.
and they support each other and
Yeah.
and
The special needs community as a whole.
Absolutely.
As a whole.
Yeah, and I
Open arms
Right.
concept and come on, I got you.
No, they are
whatever,
the
with each
most
other.
genuine people
Yeah.
that you'll ever meet in your life. Special needs people will show you how much of a lie the other people that you have in your life are.
Right.
yeah,
They will show you how deceptive your circle really are because they're genuine all the time,
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
If you don't look right, they're like, good. If you don't smell good, like, you stink. Like, they ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, right,
They
right,
ain't
right,
trying
yeah.
to fit in. They got their own cool
Yeah, right,
factor.
right.
They cool by
My,
themselves.
my circle is way
Yeah,
different from
they
yours.
cool.
And I'm gonna stay in my circle.
Right,
You
so
know?
you need to be
Right.
trying to prove your self-worth to them
Right.
versus them
Yes.
trying to prove their self-worth to you.
Yeah.
True.
So I mean, you have a lot of rethinking and growing up to do as an adult
Yeah.
for in their eyes because their eyes are genuine. They don't have the luxuries that we have
Yeah. Right.
as everyday people. So you know, how can you take somebody like that for granted or dilute their existence?
They haven't
Shame
been
on you.
tainted by society.
Right,
right,
You know,
right.
it's still
Man.
a free thinking mind.
Right. So
Right.
just
Yeah.
as y'all on Instagram and think that everything is popping, shame on you.
Mhm.
Shame on you.
Right.
There's a whole nother world out there that you
Man.
need to tune into.
Hey, I go back to when I was in barber school though, man. You know, we used to cut, kids hair, special need kids hair.
Mhm.
And they'll come in there and they'll be all over the place and, the different barbers be like, I ain't been down. I'll be like, they'll look at me and be like, oh, you don't go to him.
Yeah, right.
Don't
We
go
don't,
to
we don't
him.
need effects.
But I'm just saying, I'm just saying.
They chose you versus the other barbers.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
and I always believe.
And every time they come back, they look,
They look
yeah,
at you.
yeah.
Right.
You made an impression on them.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, they
They're
feel
genuine people,
comfortable
man.
with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
That's the
They know.
one thing they need to feel is comfortable.
Right.
Like you can't sit there and put them in a situation where they're gonna
Have to defend
they're gonna
or get
act out,
defensive,
and
yeah.
then when they act out, it's like hard to bring them down.
Right.
Oh, and one kid act out in this one barber chair and he ain't know what to do.
Yeah.
He was just stuck. He like, oh man, what am I
Right.
supposed to do with this?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
They
That's-
go in.
Yeah, you got to get to
You
know
said
the
go in,
community, man,
right.
because they're the most. To me, they're the most beautiful people in this world.
Yeah.
They're
That's on a
genuine.
personal
They're
level.
genuine.
Man. They to me, I don't like. I love everybody
Right,
as a whole.
right.
I love everybody. I love people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't entertain a lot of stuff. I love people, but them, they got a special place in my heart.
Yeah,
Me too.
They are
in my
the
heart,
most
in my heart too.
beautiful people
Yeah, they
that you
are.
would ever meet in
Yeah.
your life.
They really are.
So after 8 years, man,
Yeah.
those kids become your kids.
Yeah.
Right.
And unfortunately, a lot of them pass at a young age.
Yeah.
They do.
And it's just if anybody does anything, man, for the special needs community,
Yeah.
do it genuine. Like
Yeah.
don't slight it, man. Don't take it for granted. Don't look down on them, man. Like they are the most beautiful people that God can ever put on this
Kindest
earth.
people you ever want to meet.
Man, yeah.
I mean, them your real friends.
Pure.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
Like,
Right.
like your mother tell you, you ain't got no friends. If you know them your real
Yeah.
friends.
They know motives.
Right.
But they're gonna look for you every day. They're gonna want to be bothered with you
Yeah.
every day.
No matter
they're
what
gonna work
mood
your
you in.
nerves
Right.
every
Right.
day.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna come to your desk every day.
Yeah.
They looking for you, and if you don't come to work, they might throw their day
they'll
out of
come.
sync.
Yeah.
Because you make their day, and they know whether you genuine or not.
Yeah.
They trust me, man. They know if
They
you
know.
evil. All you wicked people out there,
Right.
they
Right.
go to their houses and go to these centers, and they treat y'all like dirt, and y'all write them off. It ain't them, it's you.
Right.
I say it all the
It's
time.
just like
Yeah.
once again when go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, he was assaulted by two of the workers at the house,
Mhm.
and they had to
Wow.
let them go. One girl put it on Instagram.
See?
Talking about she was gonna throw water on him. I'm like, my
Oh,
cousin.
God.
She was like, "Did you see this?" And like, she sent me the video, and I was like, "Are you serious?"
You gotta understand where he's at.
But the
No,
thing,
I
I
understand
can't say
ignorance.
this.
That's
like,
ignorance on her
like
behalf.
that video will probably reach out to all the people in that community.
Right.
And I know from experience, I've seen a girl do that in one of the houses where I work at. She did something that was real disrespectful to one of the residents, and it went viral. And she was working her way up to, she went to college and everything to work in this profession. They blackballed her.
Yeah.
For all that money,
Like that, I'm
she
sure.
threw her whole
Right,
career away.
right.
Just off of that one
Yeah.
post. Because it's
Right.
like, no, how can we trust you to be with our kids
Man.
and you doing something like this?
That's just like a lot of daycares, you know what I'm saying? A lot of daycare people ain't got time for that.
These senior citizen homes,
Yeah.
these adults,
Yeah,
senior
yeah,
citizens,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like I swear, if they put more hidden cameras in there for
Yeah.
compassionate,
Oh, the shit you
maybe
would
half of
see.
these people would not
Yeah,
have
the
jobs.
unemployment we get.
I've been in clubs, man, and I've seen like females come in there before they shift, like during happy hour, get drunk and then go to work.
Right.
Man, I swore to God, to this day, man, my parents will never go into a day. So I don't care.
Right.
I will
Yeah.
literally put my life on pause, wipe
Right.
their ass,
Right.
brush their teeth,
Right.
and wash their hair
Right.
before I entrust their care to one
Yeah.
of these facilities, man.
And I'm kind of regretting sending my sister to a nursing home because
Right.
just an incident just happened today. And it's like,
Are you serious?
yeah.
It's all bad.
Right.
It's all bad.
Yeah.
It's all bad. So we moving on. The Dangerous Project, and what's next?
What's next? What's next? What's
So
next?
I know, like, okay. So you went to Ohio Media School, right?
Yeah.
So why?
Right.
Why did I go to Ohio Media School?
I always ask, and don't take it personal. I always ask
Ah.
everybody that.
No. There's a bit of some personal reasons why I went there through something I was dealing with
Mm-hmm.
in my personal life.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think, who the heck? I don't remember. But anyway, one of the rap artists I knew ended up telling me that she goes there, and then I just started hearing it on the radio, and then I started realizing that other people I knew went there, over time.
Mhm.
And I was like, let me see. And so I'm vocal. I like to be on the microphone.
No problem.
Whether it be singing, talking, rapping, because I've done some rapping in my day.
Right.
Because a lot of people, when they see me from the music industry, I was doing like the hooks and stuff, they would say, "You still rapping?" Because I had a couple songs that I did rap on,
Mhm.
which was my songs. So they either are you still rapping or are you still singing? So Ohio Media School, when I went to audition, so I was just influenced. To go and thought it was a good idea to learn voiceovers and learn how to use the equipment. You know what I mean? So I can be my own entity and know. And I've always wanted to experience learning just some basics from the studio. So if I wanted to record myself, like I want to record myself. I don't have to, rely on somebody else. So I just thought it was a good opportunity just to be exposed to it. And then when I went in and they have you do like an interview, not an interview, but like an audition.
Right.
Rodiga and another person from the radio station was there, and they do like a little checklist and grade you or whatever. She gave me like so many props. I was like, okay, I'm the ish. Let's go. Rodiga said it right here, and she was just like, she was just impressed with, they give you a script to read, and she was like, you can read over one time, and I felt really good about it because I'm really good at reading, I'm really good at projecting, and I was like, let me not seem too cocky. Let me go over here and at least look at it, because there might be a word or two that might be like stump me or whatever. Let me go over here and be smart about this since they're giving me the opportunity to read it.
Right.
And so I did that, and she gave me props. So I was like, oh, okay, let's go. And
The rest is history.
yeah.
Yeah, I always ask people why, because It used to be Ohio Center for Broadcasting before it was Ohio Media
That's when I
School.
went, yeah.
And I think all of us went there.
At some point in
Oh,
time.
yes?
Yeah, for
I
different
remember when it
reasons.
was Ohio School of Broadcasting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's had 3 different names
Yeah.
over the years.
Yeah.
And I always ask people why they went there, and it was like one of those things where one day I woke up, and it's just my personal experience, and I was like, you know what, man, I did everything I could do in this city. Let me go to this school so I can solidify my talent. I can see what this is all about. So I went in and signed up and, gave them my money and was like, all right, let's get this piece of paper so that
10
you can
months
justify
later.
what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
You could be official.
Yeah.
Man,
That was part of it too.
turned out to be the biggest crock of shit I ever invested. A waste of time I ever invested my money into.
10 months
Ultimate
gone.
fail.
Yeah.
Man, like the dude that was on the bill, what's that, the Big Chuck and Lil John show?
Oh,
He died while I was there. Like, the people who was like in charge of the administration, like.
That's a
the
monumental moment.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
Turn my mic back up.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
The lady quit.
Oh my
Like
God.
after the first semester, she quit, so like we didn't even have no counselors. So they moved the one guy who was like an instructor into an
Samansky.
administrative position, and then he started trying to get us to do like this telecommuting teaching where somebody out of Columbus who had never heard of was sitting in there in class and trying to teach us. Then he tried to. This was when like Periscope first came out. The WordPress had started doing like the website. This is all in the initial stages. Then like all the programs was all torrent bootlegs. Man, so that wasn't even the tip of the iceberg. I'm writing all this shit in my notebook with dates. I'm writing everything down. What the hell is that?
Sorry, the microphone's up too high.
Oh, so I'm writing all these dates down. I'm like, yeah, this bullshit, this bullshit, this bullshit, this bullshit. So then, like, yeah, so this black lady worked there. And I can't think of her name. And even if I could, I wouldn't say it.
Administration lady?
Yeah.
Somebody touched
Your
them with
headphones
when they
are
move the
fine.
chair, your head, y'all got,
Your headphones are
it's up too high.
It didn't start till he started to turn this on.
Then, I have no control. Y'all can have control.
Turn your volume down.
I used to
Turn the
meet
volume
in the
down on the
ladies' room.
headphones.
Oh. Yeah.
Here we gonna play a song. Wanna play a song?
Yeah, just turn your volume down on your headphones. You put it in front of the
Oh, he can
microphone.
finish his
Feedback.
part.
Yeah, so it was crazy. So like I wouldn't even say her name if I knew it. Like I don't even know her name.
Right.
But like she like got word of what I was doing. I started talking to other students.
Oh.
Yeah, she got word.
You started
I started a
the
revolt.
movement.
Yeah.
You started the movement.
Yeah, I was mad. I was like, y'all wasting y'all money.
Yeah.
But then I didn't realize that my situation was a lot different than theirs.
Your previous experience.
Because
outside
because
of that,
right. So when they had sent us out to shadow, like they basically was like, listen, man, you got to go to this radio station and you got to like shadow and like go and ask questions. So we went downtown to this radio station, man, and went to the radio station. The guy, I walked in there and was asking him all these questions or whatever, and shout out to Skeet Montana, man. He was a part of that waste of money too.
Yeah. 10 months gone.
Yeah, so he was like, so the guy was like, hey man, are you like already in professional radio? And I was like, no man. I was like, I'm a DJ, man, but I'm going here for
I ain't got nothing else to do.
just for a
Just get a big
certification.
paper.
Right,
He
right.
was like, dude, you're like years ahead.
Yeah.
Every student
Yeah.
that's ever come in here.
Yeah.
He was like, man, you need to
There's
go
nothing
back.
I can show you.
He was like, you need to go back and ask for your money back. So I went back to the school, like with that whole mindset.
Are you
Mind you
serious?
that I got like 3 students in my car, my personal car, taking them there. So like we going to this like shadow internship, so we had to shoot this bootleg ass bullshit video for a class project. Like at this time now, like I'm so angry, like I'm just like I'm against everything that they got going on. Like I don't participate in the classes. Like the other students that was there, like you had, if you ever been there, you had to record these voice commercials and shit
The
for
30,
your
15, 30, and 45 second ones.
Yep, you had to record these commercials. So all of a sudden, I go to my computer to like pull up my commercials and shit. My whole folder empty, but I always back my shit up on a flash drive.
Got him.
So like my shit gone, but then like it came down for class for the whole like test thing. Cause I had did my
The
shit in
final
like one
test.
take, the whole
Right.
thing. So they had, you had to play your commercial in front of the class. So like all these students had my commercial bits and they fucking
Yours?
commercial, yeah. Like they had
The
literally.
instructor passed it out?
Man, no, these motherfuckers was cool with the dude that worked in the studio. I think his name was Ricky. This like big fat cat, man, like super sloppy. But he was like in
Yes.
charge of all the programs and shit.
Yes.
Yeah, so they had got with him and like got all my shit out my folders, man. Like they was literally playing, they did their commercials over my shit. So I was like, how is this even possible? So
and you know your
right.
stuff,
So they was like, well, where's your folder? Where's your folder? So I would set the computer and I would pull it up and it'll be empty. I'm like, how they using my work and it's empty? Well,
Yeah.
you have to prove that they stole your work. Out comes the
Yeah.
flash drive. Because everything I do, I save on the flash drive. I wouldn't trust in that
They never
place.
catch me like that.
Man, I stuck my flash drive in that computer in the classroom, and it was connected to the speakers or whatever with the TV. And it was like everything that every student had used that they gave an A to was all
Right there.
in my folders. And they was like a bomb, like a mic drop.
Yeah, like-
So I just pulled my flash drive out. I didn't eject that bitch safely. I pulled that motherfucker out because at this point I'm cocky now. Y'all
Yeah,
my ass.
I got you.
So
Right.
I walk out. I go right to the administrator's office. I say, listen, man.
I just need my paperwork.
I said, I need y'all to send that FAFSA shit back to the Department of Education.
Right.
I'm gonna need y'all like the money that I paid y'all for the
I
first
need
couple
that
months.
refund.
Y'all can keep.
Right.
I said y'all can keep that shit because I came, but I didn't come here as a graduate. At this point now, I'm coming here to prove that this is a false school. Y'all robbing folks. I said so either. We could take this to the news,
Right.
or y'all could make it right, and this shit could go away, and I'll never see a bill for this shit a day in my life. So they switched administration again. So this guy that was there, he was like this fucking old creep named Mike Holycoat. He was an old creep, man.
He got names now.
Oh yeah, he an old creep. And I'm calling him a creep because I thought he was cool at first.
Right.
Like he used to do this shit where you gotta name these songs at the beginning of the class, and if you can name these songs,
As
you
if
become
you
like
didn't
the
know the
head of the
songs.
class and shit. So he was like, oh, we can't, Vashawn, you can't play anymore. So like he drew like a planet on the chalk on the board, on the whiteboard with a black marker, and was like Planet Vashawn, like this dude, he knows the songs, like he's excluded, like he gets an A. So I was like, all right, I'll tell you what, let me stomp you. Let's
Stomp
switch
his DJ.
position.
Yeah,
Let me
this is
stomp
what
you.
I do every Friday night.
I want to go put in a flash drive and you name the songs. Stomp the shit out of them. So it was all cool.
Typical Shine.
Yeah. So he sent me an inbox on Facebook. I still got this inbox to this day.
Are you serious?
I swear to God. Send me an inbox to this day because he had got with the director and they was like trying to coerce me into like,
They want you to be an instructor.
they want me to pay this money, man. They want me to pay this money. And I was like, listen, man, this school is a fraud. Like, I got more networks and connections than y'all. I know more people than y'all. Like, everybody y'all brought to the school, like, they brought Steph Floss up there in, like, 107.9 and
Right.
Van and, what's his name, Has Matthews. Like, I'm talking to these dudes, like,
Hey.
they're like, what the fuck you doing here?
Yeah.
They're like, why are you here?
State your business.
Right. They're like, I know you ain't a student here. I was like, everybody makes mistakes. So, it was a learning experience for me, man, but it was like one of those things where, it's like, you gotta watch out for everything, man. Everything is a hustle or a con.
Yeah.
So, long story short,
Man, that's some experience there.
the lady called me back at her office and shit. They always try to sick the black person on. So she called me back in her
Scapegoat.
office, Sean, I know Mr. Mix from 2 Live Crew, and
Oh, my.
he speaks very highly of this school, and Wayne Dawson was here, and I seen you guys having a sidebar conversation, and maybe we should talk to you about becoming an instructor here at school. I said, no, y'all got one token. That ain't my position.
Yeah.
Y'all keep the ball head, brother. Y'all got working for y'all, because I don't rap wires for nobody but myself.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm gonna need that money though. So, she was like, what money? I'm like, for the Department of Education. I'm like, I'm not paying no student loans on this. I'm like, this fraud. I'm like, I will fucking sue y'all in court.
Right.
I'm like, I literally have every documentation and email. I say, see, y'all fucked up when y'all left a paper trail. I'm not the average.
Yeah,
black
right,
dude.
right.
I'm smarter than y'all. So I said, when y'all decided to send that paper trail because I wouldn't talk to y'all in person, that's when you fucked up. So I took all those emails, I took that inbox, and I sent that shit to Washington.
Right.
Ask me how much I owe.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what's up.
that shit disappeared.
That's what's up.
Maybe we can settle this out in court, my brother.
Right, and I didn't want no money back, man. I think I was most out of pocket like $300.
That goes
Cause like it
back
fell
in,
apart 3 months in.
Dang.
And so like for 3 months in, like it was grueling going for 3 months in after the fact, all the way to the end of the course. Like by the time we got to like the last semester where they started doing the commercials and the video shit, like I just stopped going. I was like, fuck y'all, man. I'm like, I got too much other shit going
I had a pretty
on.
decent experience though. I know that was a while ago.
But that was when they changed.
Yeah.
When I was there, they changed it to Ohio Media School.
Okay.
That semester after I quit.
Were they still down in
It's still the same place to this day.
Up
Yeah.
the
No,
hill?
Valley View, still same place to this day.
They're up
We
the
can
hill
play
now.
footsies. That's okay. We can play
They're
footsies.
they're up on Rockside across from the food.
Yeah, it's still there. That's
I
where it
was
was.
I was down there
Oh,
by.
you was off of
I was
Sweet
down
Valley.
Yeah.
You was a Sweet
by
Valley.
the movie theater.
Yeah,
That's where I was.
No,
down there.
it's on Rockside.
Yeah.
When I went there, it was Rockside. Like literally, the class that I was in, that was the last class before they changed it to Ohio Media
You
School.
should have told me that. I'd have been like, hey, I know DJ Shonny Shon, play with me.
They'd have been like,
Yeah,
no.
right.
No.
I know, don't tell them
They
that.
probably would have kicked you out. They would have denied your passport.
Right. Oh, man.
You be getting that call.
You can't come here.
Yeah.
So,
I went to the old school one,
I tell you.
when it was on 30th and you.
I was about to say I was downtown, somewhere
30th
downtown. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So I tell people all the time, man. Like, and I had to finish that story because I knew you went there, but I knew like that was the catalyst to you starting the show.
yeah. I probably wouldn't be on the DJ Shonny Shon and the Bourbon Brothers conversation show if I hadn't. Hey.
We're being real subdued
Yeah,
right
Steve
now.
Montana, man, like they had so many like lawsuits against
Yeah.
them.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
bet.
yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, to even expand that, it's like the whole education system is kind of like a fraud right now.
Please.
Yeah, that was the second school that I
Yeah.
had won a case against. Like,
Really?
I won a case against Brian Stratton.
Oh my
God,
God.
dude, right there.
You know what?
Hey, I need
This conversation.
We're gonna get you a night job. We're gonna get you a night
I tell you
job.
what,
I need it in my pocket.
They straight trying to defraud me on this fucking network security program. Like anybody know you, like I'm a computer guy. Like, I'm genuinely a nerd. I just like music. I've always been a fucking nerd.
Okay.
But they tried to like start this network security program. So I had these brochures and I was like, I don't know. I'm like, they're like, yeah, you
kept
your
reading. You
your
kept
A+
reading.
certification.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, that's the business. Like I can go get my CompTIA. I can get this A+ certification. I can go to Cisco. I can do networking and serving,
Yeah.
like password encryption. I'm like, all right, cool.
Let's
I'm all
go.
in.
Yeah.
So I go there. Well,
Uh-oh.
I'm in the class of guinea pigs. The program had literally started that semester.
Stop it.
It wasn't even established. They didn't have no turnover rate. They didn't have no succession rate, no completion rate,
Wow.
no nothing. Like literally, like we were given, like while we were going there, it was a professor there that was cool. He was cool. He was an older white guy, man. He was cool. But he was the only person that was going to bat for the school to like, get us to get in contact with the servers on the international level so we could like try to upload viruses, debug the viruses, learn the fucking IVP6, the whole shit with your IP address. Like, he was cool, man. Like, he was a dude that was like really on it, but the school just wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, wasn't ready.
So when I found out that it was like such a diluted program and it didn't exist, and this was the first year they hadn't even tried it out on anybody or for the school for experimentation purposes, I was like, I'm gonna need y'all to send that money back to the Department of Education.
Can you rush those
Of
in?
course.
Yeah, take the shit off there. Now, like, he was like, oh, you gotta finish these courses. I said, I'm gonna show up every day just so that I did my part
Right.
until these emails come through and they tell me that I don't have to come here anymore.
Right.
Then it's the middle finger to y'all. So, like,
Right.
this lady emailed me, man. I never heard from this woman. Like, I went home and did some more slick shit. So, I'm gonna tell you.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do
No,
to get where you wanna go.
I'm gonna tell you what I did because I would advise that anybody else in this situation do the same thing. So I had went and found out every branch of this school, like all the way to the top to the bottom. And I sent that, I BCC'd that email. I wrote this long professional email and I tagged the Department of Education of Washington and every branch of this school from the top of the top all the way to the bottom. So I get an email from this lady. This lady
Who
is
are
like,
you?
she's like one of the head chair people of this school that sits on like the funding for this entire program. So y'all gotta understand, like this shit is like a franchise. It's like McDonald's.
Yeah.
It's got a bunch of people. You got money to put in there to a school. Yeah, you can come on and invest in it. But she was like at the top of the food chain. So she was like, I need to have a talk to you because you stirring up some information that with people that people don't talk to.
Yeah.
Like, how are you talking to these
Yeah.
people?
So you wanted to meet the wizard.
Right.
She want to know how you talking to these
Behind the
people.
curtain.
So I'm like, shit,
Right.
let me school you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My skin is a different complexion, but my brain is full functioning. So,
Okay.
you know, let me break this down
Come
for
on
you.
now.
So I broke it down to her and sent her, like, she was like, well, they're not going to give you your transcripts or anything. I said, sorry, sweetheart, I already have them. Like, I'm gonna do my homework before I execute a plan. I don't never make my move too soon.
Yes.
Matter of fact, cue that up. Never make your move too soon by BB King. We gonna close that today. I never make my move too soon. It's like, you know, if I got a plan, I don't sleep.
Right.
While everybody's asleep, I'm working. So
That is true.
yeah, so I got that shit like all the way together. And she talked to the superintendent of the branch in Snow Road over there on the west side.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where I was
Not
going.
Snow Road.
Snow Road. So the lady from over there at Snow Road sent me an email and like try to dispel everything that I had in the office, a conference with the dean. So she didn't know that I literally recorded the whole conversation with the dean. I'm like, y'all really got the right one around here, man. Like, y'all got the right one. I am not that
You want the playback?
dude.
Here.
Right. So I know I converted it to MP3 and sent it to her.
Wow.
Just to let y'all know. I got you.
Yeah.
I knew that this was coming.
Yeah,
I knew that this was coming.
right.
Man.
You talking about being one step ahead.
Right.
Right.
And I literally sent her a copy of the transcripts where I had an A in every last one of my courses. Like I passed my course, like I'm doing. I'm like I'm not a moron. I'm not one of these dudes sitting on the couch playing Xbox and say, "Well, I need to get a college degree one day." No.
You sound like the commercial.
No.
I do this
Hey
for
man,
free.
don't.
Right, yeah.
Danger
You sound like
should
the
be your
commercial.
song.
I read for fun.
Danger should be your
Like,
song.
like, people
for
don't
fun,
understand. I
right.
read for fun. Like this is my thing. Like
Yeah.
I'm a very informative dude, man.
Yeah.
I read for fun. Like I sit back and analyze stuff until it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like if somebody puts something out and it don't make sense, but it got an interest to me,
Yeah.
I need to dissect it
Yeah.
until it
And-
makes
and-
sense
And
to
that's
me.
what
Look
you're
at it from
supposed to
another
do.
perspective.
And that's
Yeah,
what you
Right.
should do.
and I think a lot of people, you know, they don't do
Don't
that,
do
man.
it.
That's why these
No.
people. That's why, you know, I hate that we going through this whole quote unquote new normal.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
that people get away from the motivation of getting up every day on a routine. Like even in a situation like this,
Yes.
you need to keep a routine.
Yes.
Just because you work from home don't mean you shouldn't get up, put on clothes,
And get dressed,
and play the
exactly.
part. Like play the part. Your kids are watching you.
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
get up to pretend that you want to work, they'll get up and pretend that they're going to school.
Yeah.
Even though they're going on the
Yeah.
computer, man, that routine is so
It's so
important because it
important.
keeps your brain fresh.
Yeah.
It keeps your energy
Yeah.
levels up.
Yeah.
This makes you get up and do something
Yeah.
with yourself.
Give
You have to
some
still
normalcy.
Yeah, you gotta
and what you got going on.
Yeah, you gotta maintain some type of
Ritual.
productivity, man.
Habits.
And this whole thing, like if they want y'all to sit down and become complacent. You gonna gain a little weight, that's cool. Yeah, you might eat more than you didn't
No,
eat.
no,
You
I'm
might
not doing
exercise,
that.
but at the same time, you still have to maintain some type of productivity
You do.
in your whole
Absolutely.
maintenance of the day. And people are getting away from that.
Still
man.
gotta get it.
Right.
And-
It's don't
with-
become complacent,
With this
man.
Yeah.
this dumbed down shit that's
Dumbed
going
down,
on right
yeah.
now, it gives you a thought process. You know that you know your brain's still working for yourself. You're not doing this what they want you to do day in, day out.
But 85% of the world is doing what they want you to
because
do.
they're they fall for the convenience.
I
Yeah.
guarantee you, man.
Yeah.
and you create
They're
like-
lazy.
It's not even falling for the convenience, it's falling to the fact that they got to this mind state that, you know, this virus is just taking control of them,
Yeah,
which
right.
is not, you know what I'm saying? You gotta tell your
You gotta
brain.
be smart,
All right,
but
you gotta tell your
still-
brain that, man, look, man, we functioning
Yeah,
over here.
let's go.
Let's go,
Let's
we
go.
up,
Yeah, we
let's
gotta still
move.
get it.
But that's the whole
Period.
thing. You know, you have to maintain some type of productivity. You have to have a routine.
Right.
Even if you
Yes.
don't, yeah, we're very well aware of what's going on out here. But you owe it to yourself to still get up
To do it.
and play your
Right.
part.
Yeah,
Even if you're
yeah.
going into the living room, play your part.
Yeah.
Get up,
Yeah.
brush your teeth, take a
Yeah.
shit,
Please.
shower.
Do your normal.
Like shave,
Do your normal.
Go to the office. Like your office is in the living room.
Get up and
Do
get
your
it.
Get up and
normal.
pretend you still going to the same place.
Act like you
Get
still
up in
doing
the
your
morning,
normal.
turn the news on, turn your
Yeah.
teapot on,
Yeah.
turn your coffee maker on,
Yeah.
make you some breakfast. And you ain't gotta walk out the door. You might go up some stairs or you might go around the corner. That routine is very
That's so
important,
important,
man.
And you know what? And on that note, I have to give a shout out to my wife.
Yes.
She's been working from home for the last 5 years, and I swear that's her routine. It's like, cause at first I'm like, shit, if it was me and I had to work from home,
Right, be chilling.
I'm sitting in my drawers. Like, shit,
Yeah,
nah,
yeah.
Hey, she get up like she was doing,
Yeah.
cause before she had that, she
That's
worked
what's
for
up.
CMHA, and it's like, you know, of course, with the high heels and stuff, she still
Right,
dressed
right,
up,
but yeah.
But hey,
It's
You
important.
still get up and get it.
yeah, I give her props. I
That
give her
keeps her
props.
brain healthy.
Right.
That keeps her body functioning.
Yeah.
That keeps your self-esteem alive, man.
Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
all it's really about, man. You got to keep
That's
yourself
right
alive,
there, right there.
man.
That's it right there.
You got to keep yourself
That's
alive.
Motivational moment on conversation with
There it
DJ
is.
Shonny Shon and the Bourbon Brothers.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go. Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, we got to get back to you though. So you went to
Yeah, you
Ohio
thought we was
Media
just gonna
School.
leave.
Yeah, you ain't through yet. Ohio
I
Media
was like-
School. You started your show. So what was the basis of you starting your show other than giving empowerment to women? Because I know you have guests that come in and they talk about things. So like, what is your ultimate goal? Like, what is your end game?
Well, I started off with a guest, and I just was like, it's an hour show. I don't have enough time. So we gonna add guests.
We were just talking about
that. I said I need another hour for the guests because I really want to put out the information and the things that I've learned and the things that I'm learning. But my end game, do anybody know their own end game? Like, is there really an end game?
Yeah, you have to have an ultimate goal. Like,
No, ultimate goal.
to accomplish.
Like
What
an
are you trying to
ultimate goal.
accomplish? Yeah, that's your end game. is
But,
your
you know,
accomplishment.
my thinking,
Yeah,
my
no,
overthinking
not
stuff
the
like
end of
that.
the world.
Not the end of the world, but
dude,
that
like when
end
you
game.
die,
Don't
Ain't no end.
Don't dissect my word game for that. That's like when
Energy-
you gotta
energy
you gotta
transpires.
overstand.
Energy
and-
never dies. Like,
Yeah, no, that's not what
So-
that's not what I'm referring.
So my ultimate goal then,
There
better
you go.
verbiage for my thinking.
There you go.
End game is to really reach the masses and get people to like basically what you just touched on. It's just to do more than what we settle for. Stop being so conditioned. Get up if you are working from home. Get up and get to it like you are about to get out where people see you. It keeps your brain functioning healthy, helps you, continue with the memorization. Because as we get older, we start to lose things. Things start to diminish because we don't, the metabolism has slowed down and we not feeling as active as we used to be. So like you just touched on it, and that's what I want to pour into the people forever. End game. Oh boy. Whew. It's been challenging with what I had in mind before I started media school. But one of the ultimate goals would have to be my own media station. My own media station. Like my own platform, my own towers. That's like a platform that I'm excited about. But depending on there's a few factors that are needing to be processed mentally on that note.
Right, because you're gonna have to meet Ted Turner at some point.
Well, I'll just tell them we're related because
Yeah, you know who Ted Turner is.
that's my last name.
Turner?
Yeah,
What the fuck is your first name?
Glenise.
That's an old school name.
You need to stop because I had that conversation today.
No, but you know what's funny? I said that earlier. I said, man, it's just certain names you just don't hear.
You know my grandma from Alabama.
My grandmother's name was
Glenise.
Glendora, and I'm named after her. And someone was like, "You need to." Today they told me I interviewed them today. Emmanuel Leach, shout out to Emmanuel Leach. He told me I should, I said, "Well, look, now it was Younger is an old school name. I'm a Moone child. I'm a Cancer. Nickname is Moone, so it just fit. That
No,
was it.
wishy-washy cancers. Stop.
Moody.
Very moody.
Oh wow.
Tell him. Moody.
No, yeah.
He is number one.
Wishy-washy.
You're right.
Shout out to my man Mo. He's a cancer.
It's not
too.
wishy-washy.
We're
It's
not
moody.
wishy-washy.
We're ruled by the moon.
The water.
Water sign.
And we're water signs. I mean, it's not
One
our
of
fault.
3. Y'all
It's
special.
not our fault.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah.
So when I talk to you, Showcase, I gotta look at whatever the water is.
Oh, look these up to the out.
You put Showcase, you got
In the back.
3
Let's see
numbers.
how-
You gotta watch out when you talk to him. It's 333, 444, 111. That's
I saw
wait till they
444
start.
when I
Wait till they
came in
start.
today.
See, that's why this is such a great interview.
Yep.
Started was alive.
Yeah.
Wait till the start. Wait till because I'm
Yeah, I was
put this on
pumped
the
too. I
floor.
was excited to be here.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you
I was
came.
looking forward to it. Oh, yeah.
This was super
XLRs
dope.
too,
I
right?
was almost
No,
in
they wasn't.
Oklahoma this week. You
Well, I'm
know?
glad you decided to stay in Cleveland a day longer.
I'll be here.
So was Miss Moone like your stage name throughout your whole career? Or?
Yeah, you know what? I tried to come up with something. Why not?
Lenise
Yeah,
just didn't
Miss
sound
Moone.
good on stage.
You need to stop. You need to stop.
You was asking.
I mean, we played around with the name Moon, like Lady Moon, and you know different things around Moon. And Moon had to be a part of it though, like period. Like that's me. That's who I am.
That's dope. I liked it. I mean, you always been Miss Moon to me. ain't you?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But now when I see you in private, I'm gonna call you something else.
Only like 3 people may call me that. My mom don't even call me that.
It might be a little
Yeah.
bit more after this.
Yeah, you in the station.
If y'all can remember, because
Oh, I
people
won't-
jack it
I
up
don't-
all the time.
I don't
okay,
forget.
don't worry about it. It's
Then
like,
we gotta record it.
I don't
so-
forget.
oh, you're gonna record.
Make sure you know it's live on video right
Yeah,
now.
I know. Thanks for putting me out there.
No, thank you.
But yeah. So
Let me show y'all the sign so y'all.
Ted Turner, you want to Ted Turner. It's
And it's all that stuff.
CNN.
Yeah,
TNT. I thought it was
He's the
TNT.
owner.
All that. All that.
Super old dude, man.
With a hillbilly, with a cowboy hat
I want to
on.
be related to
Yeah,
him.
you come on owning towers. You
Yeah,
might-
you
might have to twerk
that's
some.
big media.
Right.
That's big
That's
media.
huge
Yeah.
media.
And
I
you
mean, hell.
got, what I would dream big, like
Yeah,
no.
please
but-
do.
Yeah,
Please
you have
do.
to. Anything can happen.
We have to
You don't
create
wanna
our
put it,
own, and that's part of it.
Well, you probably like what's that saying? Ancestry.com. You might be in a
And I
bloodline.
got on there and was like, okay, that's just too much.
I would never waste my money on.
I didn't. That's why I got out of there before the trial was over. I said, oh no, this. I mean, it's just too dragged out. It was painful. It was yeah.
Nah, I mean for me it was worth it though.
Some people have really no.
Yeah, it worked for some people.
Some people have really found.
Flip it
Yeah.
over.
But I want to ask you before we move on. Like I know you into like the astrological thing and energies and all that stuff.
There we
So,
go.
like my dude Red Stripe makes those.
Oh
that's
yeah,
my
I gotta
homie.
get one from him.
Yeah, I thought that's where you got your.
Nope,
neck.
I got. My sister make them too, but no, I got this from some other people that I know. Like, my neck just gonna be loaded with something from every one of those 3 parties. But yeah, Red Stripe,
Yeah, that's my homie.
Rhythm Room.
Yeah.
That's my dude.
Hey, y'all keep
You know,
talking about
he's
the
on that. He's on that level now. He does that like
Yeah.
super huge,
Man.
super huge.
I love Red
So
Stripe.
what does a lot of that symbolize for the people that don't know, like with the rings, the jewelry? Like is it just energy or is it just a movement? Is it a lifestyle? What is
Well, it's all those, absolutely. It is a movement, it's a lifestyle change. It's just becoming more aware and being more in tune with these crystals / stones. Right now I'm wearing the tiger's eye and I'm educating myself and I said, you know what, I'm trying to figure out, because in school there's systems, a lot of things are systems.
Right.
So what is going to be my system to educate myself on these chakras and all the crystals? Like I have the crystal Bible and it's a slew of them. So I'm like, I want to be able to, you ask me what this mean and what's this, I want to be able to like boom, boom, boom. So I said I was going to take like 5 a week and learn. So the tiger's eye is getting spiritually grounded. It's more to it than that, but that's like really the basis of it all. I'm becoming more conscious and opening your 3rd eye. And then I'm wearing the amethyst ring. And if I remember, all right, I don't want to waste my time trying to remember, but I just read about the amethyst, and it's just really getting in tune with our inner spirituality, because we're so consumed with our outer being, which distracts us from what's important in here. So it is definitely a lifestyle. Like I have to wean myself off of certain things and no longer like participate and indulging in certain things. And I'm really like just preparing myself mentally to do that and be that.
Cause I watched Erica Badu like on Instagram, and she was like really so far ahead of the game with that.
Man.
She is.
Erica's a beast.
And I wonder.
Oh man, I wish I knew her.
I just wonder where does I know I'm quite sure there's a fine line with everything.
Yeah.
But where does that fine line stop from the people who have a genuine interest versus the people who are hustling people for opportunity? Because I've been in a lot of places. I go to a lot of fairs and bazaars, and I see like the maple water, the alkaline water, the crystals, the third eye thing, the pineal gland, and now I fell into it for a while, but I think for me, I can't say for everybody else, but for me, it came down to self-worth and knowledge.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I read for fun.
Yeah.
But there's things that you sometimes have to ask other people, but you have to be in tune with those people on the same plane in order to get to that level of understanding.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes people have conversations with people out of convenience versus understanding. So when you say like I recognize the jewelry that you had on because I talk to people because I always got questions. Like I'm one of those dudes. I've always got questions.
Right.
So it's just a matter of figuring out, finding the right answers on where it comes from, because we could both have the same recognition as to what we see, but our thoughts might be different in the directions that we travel. And I wonder where it really boils down to people, where the directions that they travel amongst their paths, because I think that we all have a lot of similarities as human beings or as energy beings.
Absolutely.
But our paths are not always aligned the same.
Yeah.
So those are like the little things that keep me up at night.
Me too. Cause like you said, how do you really know that's really
right?
what it is?
Because I've read a lot of books that were ultimately misleading in the sense that it took me right back to where I started, and you never answered the question. And I think that sometimes people can take you the long, drawn-out path around. It's like putting your address in Google. Right. It's gonna take you all the way around 3 corners to bring you back to a street that you could have just turned 1 corner to get down. Right. And I think that happens with a lot of the things that we want to believe in because we just don't know. Because everything is so new. Like we weren't raised into like that whole culture. So it's like when you get into it, they kind of like some stories like related to the whole Wicca fashion of things, and if people don't know what the Wicca fashion of things are, it's like witches and like the old like cult type things. And then some people like call it spiritual energy and productivity in the third eye, but it's all essentially the same thing, because anything other than what somebody believes in is going to be a form of like deception or witchcraft, even though it's not. But you have to be able to think for yourself at the end of the day.
You do.
So I mean, I'm never searching for the answers from nobody. I just search for clarity more than
within.
Yeah, because you gotta have understanding. If you can understand it on your own, you're not really depending on the answer.
Once you get the understanding, you can find your own answer.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. You're depending on the understanding versus the answer from somebody else. Because nobody else can answer a question